Hi everybody, Brian from Steeda, featuring the Whipple Mega Cooler for 2020 and later Explorer STs. One of the great ways to get the full potential out of your EcoBoost engine, or really any engine, but EcoBoost in particular because it's a turbocharged engine, is to look at adding a front mount intercooler. The Mega Cooler is, well, front mount intercooler, heat exchanger, whatever verbiage you want to use. This is what it's designed to do. And ultimately, the function of a front mount intercooler is to cool down the air after it's compressed by the turbos. Obviously, exhaust gases spin the turbo, it compresses air, pushes air through the front mount intercooler. That air gets cooled so that as it goes back into the engine, it's now cooler, or your intake air temperatures come down. That's the whole point of the front mount intercooler. The Mega Cooler does this because it is huge. 214% more volume as far as air capacity than the factory front mount intercooler. The ECU or PCM is constantly monitoring temperatures and performance of the engine through your oxygen sensors and your intake air temperature sensors. So it can continually change the functionality as far as air-fuel ratio and as far as timing. And one of the biggest benefits of adding a front mount intercooler or a Mega Cooler from Whipple is that it reduces the intake air temperatures substantially. And by reducing the intake air temperatures, it allows the ECU to command more timing advance. And what that ultimately means is more spark, that means more combustion, more air into the combustion chamber, and you get the idea, you know where this is going. More horsepower, more torque, and a more usable truck all around. Of course, we're all addicted to horsepower and torque, but this is incredibly important in an SUV like the Explorer ST. A lot of you are using this as a daily commuter. You need some extra horsepower to pass somebody on the highway, or again, a 2-lane road, whatever it might be, or again, additional torque when you're towing. And the issue with any turbocharged engine is keeping that heat at bay. Anytime those turbos are spooling and compressing air, you're getting hot air passing through that front mount intercooler. It's important to cool that down, especially because you think of these conditions. By the time you're getting into third and fourth gear in your ST, the odds are good that it's starting to have heat soak, or that the intake air temperatures are increasing to a point that the ECU is now pulling back some of that timing. It is removing performance, if you will, from the engine to keep it safe. Well, why not mechanically cool down that air so you can safely keep the intake air temperatures down and utilize the full benefits of this powerful and torquey engine? Of the reasons that Whipple is able to achieve such great performance gains is through the design of the intercooler itself. They use a bar and plate design on the core and smooth cast ends at each side of this. What this means is that it can obviously hold more air, we talked about that, but the air can pass through it much more efficiently and effectively with less restriction. This means less back pressure on the turbos, more effective flow. Very similar idea to a cold air intake. Airflow into the engine is always a good thing for performance. Another reason that the Mega Cooler is a great investment is it's 50 state legal, and it doesn't require a recalibration or a tune of your factory ECUs. This means it's going to be, of course, emissions compliant. This also means it's going to be warranty compliant. All things that we know a lot of you are concerned about. Whipple provides all of the pieces, including brackets and hardware, to install the front mount intercooler, as well as detailed instructions. Speaking of the instructions, definitely read through them a few times before delving into this yourself, and invite a few friends over. The hardest part, or one of the hardest parts, is removing the front bumper and putting it back on. It's not so much the removal and putting it back on, it's the making sure you do so without destroying the headlights or cracking paint on the bumper, or both. We appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. And if you enjoyed the content, definitely click like and share with other ST owners. Also, hit that subscribe button to get notifications of upcoming videos like this, as well as other things that we're doing with Ford vehicles. The Whipple Mega Cooler for your 2020 plus Ford Explorer ST. A great way to reduce intake air temperatures, which ultimately means more usable horsepower and torque every day. Whether it's getting on or off the highway and you need that extra acceleration, prolonged acceleration, going to make the most effective and efficient use of the factory power levels, again, the factory calibration. In addition, if you're towing or have a lot of payload, you're going to constantly have the turbos in boost. You're going to need a larger intercooler to dissipate that heat better and continue having the performance as you need it on a day-to-day basis, on a weekend basis when you're towing your boat, your race car, your jet skis, whatever it might be. This thing, again, is a great investment. To see the latest things that we're up to with our ST, follow us on social media. To learn more about this Mega Cooler, as well as many of the other great products we offer for the Ford Explorer ST and other Ford vehicles, visit us at Steeda.com. Again, we thank you so much for watching. Steeda, speed matters.